Ecosystem is an interaction between the biotic and abiotic components, and in such a way that there is continuous flow of energy to maintain a dynamic equilibrium between the different geographical area at a given time. So what are the two very important components of an ecosystem? One is called the structural component and the second one is called the functional component. What is primary productivity? The amount of biomass or organic matter produced by autotrophs per unit area over a period of time from photosynthesis is called primary productivity. Hello dear students, welcome back to session 1 of this interesting chapter 14, that is ecosystem. Here in this beautiful picture, you can see a beautiful ecosystem, that is the aquatic ecosystem. So in today's session, we'll be dealing with a very important aspect of the planet Earth, that is ecosystem. I think all of us know that ecosystem is an interaction between the biotic and abiotic components, and in such a way that there is continuous flow of energy to maintain a dynamic equilibrium between the different geographical area at a given time. So what is ecosystem then? It's an interaction. It is an interaction between the biotic and the abiotic components that are found on this planet Earth. So how do we define this word called ecosystem? Here you can see the aquatic ecosystem. There are two types of ecosystem. One is called the terrestrial ecosystem. The other one is called the aquatic ecosystem. The beautiful picture what you are seeing here is an aquatic ecosystem. How do we ecosystem is the structural and functional unit of the biosphere. So it is the structural and functional unit of the biosphere. So it is defined as the functional unit of nature in which living organisms interact with themselves and also with the surrounding environment. As I said, it is an interaction between the living as well as the non-living components of this biosphere. So it is defined as a functional unit of nature in which living organisms interact with themselves and also with the surrounding environment. The word ecosystem was coined by A.G. Tansley. So the word ecosystem was coined by A.G. Tansley. What are the two very important categories of ecosystem? There are two very important categories. One is called the terrestrial ecosystem and the second one is called the aquatic ecosystem. So these two ecosystems play a very great role on this planet Earth. As I said, they are the structural and functional unit of biosphere and they have been broadly categorized into two very important ecosystems. One is called the terrestrial ecosystem. We can take the example of a forest ecosystem, grassland ecosystem and of deserts as a classical example for terrestrial ecosystem. And the second one is the aquatic ecosystem. Here you can see in this beautiful picture, aquatic ecosystem may be like a pond, lake, wetland, river and estuary also. So as we know that man has also created artificial ecosystem like crop fields and aquarium. So all these are the examples for artificial ecosystem. So these are the examples for natural ecosystem. So what is ecosystem? Ecosystem is an interaction between the biotic. Biotic means what? Living components as well as the non-living components, that is abiotic components, in such a way that there is a flow of energy from one level to another level, and it is very important to maintain an ecological balance in the planet Earth. And as I said, it is the structural and functional unit of the biosphere. So it is defined as a functional unit of nature in which living organisms interact with themselves and also with the surrounding environment. And who coined the word called ecosystem? It was A.G. Tansley. And what are the two very important categories of ecosystem? One is called the terrestrial ecosystem, which comprises of the forest, grassland and the desert. And the aquatic ecosystem, which comprises of the pond, the lake, the rivers, the wetland as well as the estuary. And as we know, even man has created artificial ecosystem, like it might be a crop, field or it might be an aquarium. So what are the components of ecosystem? The two very important components of the ecosystem are one is called the structural component, the other one is called the functional component. So there are two types of components. One is called the structural components and the second one is called the functional components. So what are the structural components then? The structural components comprises of biotic and abiotic factors, both. Structural component of an ecosystem. So what are the two very important components of an ecosystem? One is called the structural component and the second one is called the functional component. Structural component of an ecosystem include what? Biotic and abiotic factors, whereas the functional components of an ecosystem comprises of productivity, decomposition, energy flow and nutrient cycling. So these comprises of the very important component of an ecosystem. I repeat, what are the two very important components of an ecosystem? One is called the structural component, which comprises of both the abiotic and biotic components, and the functional, second one is called the functional components. The functional components include productivity, decomposition, energy flow and nutrient cycling. Stratification. What is, I think when we come across this forest, this is a forest ecosystem. Forest ecosystem, which is a classical example for terrestrial ecosystem. Terrestrial ecosystem. Here, what do you mean by stratification? Like we come across, there are different levels of plants in a forest. For example, like the tall trees, next comes the shrubs, next comes the herbs. Right. So it is a vertical distribution of different levels of an ecosystem. So what is stratification? It is the vertical distribution of different levels of an ecosystem. Example, like trees of forest form top strata called canopy. I think you know the tall trees, they form the canopy. The topmost part of the trees, then the shrubs form the middle strata and herbs with grasses occupy the bottom. So top strata, strata means what? Stratification means what? Layers, layer by layer. So first the top strata will be the canopy and the middle strata will be of the shrubs. And the bottom strata comprises of what? With the herbs as well as the grasses. So stratification means levels, different levels. For example, if you take in the example here, you can see the canopy is the top, then comes the shrubs, then this comes this is the bottom strata. Bottom, this is the top canopy strata. Canopy strata. So what is stratification? It is the vertical distribution of different levels of an ecosystem. For example, trees of a forest form the top strata and it is called canopy. Shrubs form middle strata and herbs with grasses occupy the bottom strata. So components of ecosystem. Now let us take the pond as an ecosystem as an example. Pond ecosystem, which is an example for aquatic ecosystem. Now let us understand what are the components of a pond ecosystem. As we know, pond is an aquatic ecosystem where both structural and functional components are sustained. It is both are there. So abiotic components include, what are the abiotic components or the non-living components of the pond ecosystem, which includes water with a dissolved inorganic substance and soil at the bottom of the pond. They also include solar input with other climate conditions. So all these are the abiotic components. So what are the biotic components of a pond ecosystem? Includes phytoplankton. Microscopic plants are called what? Phytoplanktons, like algae floating, submerged and marginal plants at edges of the pond. All these constitutes the biotic components. As I said, a pond ecosystem comprises of both the structural components as well as the functional components, and the structural components comprises of the biotic components and abiotic components, as well as the functional components are the productivity, then decomposition, then the energy flow, then nutrient cycling. Here, the abiotic components include water with dissolved inorganic substance and soil at the bottom of the pond. They also include what? Solar input with other climate conditions. Biotic components include what? Microscopic plants like phytoplanktons, algae floating on the surface of the water. Then also we can find the marginal plants at the edge of the pond. Then the biotic components like zooplanktons, free swimming, bottom dwelling animals which consume autotrophs. Then the decomposers include microbes like bacteria, fungi, and flagellates which carry out the decaying and mineralization. So all these are the very important components of a pond ecosystem. So what is it? Pond is an example for aquatic ecosystem where both structural and functional components are sustained. So what are the abiotic components? Include water with dissolved inorganic substances and soil at the bottom of the pond. They also include what? Solar input, that is the sun rays falling on the surface of the water and other climatic conditions. So biotic components include what? Phytoplanktons like algae floating, phytoplanktons as well as algae that is submerged. Then the marginal plants that is found on the edge of the pond ecosystem. The biotic components, like it also comprises of zooplanktons, that is the small microscopic animals, then free swimming and bottom dwelling animals which consume autotrophs. Then the decomposers include the microbes, like this is the functional component of an pond ecosystem, like microbes like bacteria, fungi, and flagellates which carry out decaying and mineralization. Extreme and harsh habitats were left. So what is productivity? It is the rate of biomass production. So as I said, it is one of the very important functional component of a pond ecosystem. It is the rate of biomass production. So you can classify productivity into two. One is called primary productivity and the second one is called secondary productivity. Secondary productivity. So primary productivity and secondary productivity. What is primary productivity? The amount of biomass or organic matter produced by autotrophs per unit area over a period of time from photosynthesis is called primary productivity, and it is expressed in terms of grams per year, right? So here, what is primary productivity? The amount of biomass or organic matter that is produced by the autotrophs, that is the producers per unit area over, but here the producers are the autotrophs which manufacture their food through photosynthesis. Through over a period of time from photosynthesis is called primary productivity. So now let us understand two very important terms. Net primary productivity and GPP is gross primary productivity. NPP stands for net primary productivity and this stands for gross. Gross means what? Total. Gross primary productivity. Now let us understand what is NPP and GPP. So it is the gross primary productivity, GPP, minus respiration loss. So how do we calculate NPP? NPP is equal to GPP, that is gross primary productivity minus respiration loss is equal to NPP. Then what is gross? It is the total amount of biomass produced by plants during photosynthesis. Gross means what? Total. So these two terms you should understand. What is NPP and what is GPP? NPP stands for net primary productivity and GPP stands for gross primary productivity. How do we calculate NPP? NPP is equal to GPP minus R. That is NPP is net primary productivity is equal to gross primary productivity minus respiration loss. What is GPP? It is a total amount of biomass produced by plants during photosynthesis. So these are the very important terms which you should understand. So what is productivity? It is the rate of biomass production. Biomass is nothing but organic matter. So here you can classify the productivity into two types. One is called primary productivity, the other one is called secondary product. So what is primary productivity? The amount of biomass or organic matter produced by autotrophs per unit area over a period of time from photosynthesis is called primary productivity. So based on that, we have two very important concepts. One is called net primary productivity and the other one is called gross primary productivity. So what is this NPP? It is the gross primary productivity minus respiration loss. So net primary productivity is obtained by GPP minus R, that is respiration loss. Then what is GPP? It is a total amount of biomass produced by plants during photosynthesis. Now let us understand what is how do we calculate this? Calculation of NPP. Suppose if GPP is 200 and R respiration loss is R, then NPP is equal to 200 minus 10, that is 190. So NPP is 190. As I said, NPP is equal to GPP minus respiration loss. So what are the factors that affect primary productivity? What are the factors that is going to affect the rate of the primary productivity? The type of plant species, environmental factors, availability of nutrients, photosynthetic capacity of plant affect the primary productivity. So what are the one is what? The plant species. Second one is the environmental factors. Third one is what? Nutrients, availability of nutrients. Then photosynthetic capacity. All these are going to affect the primary productivity. So the annual net primary productivity of biosphere is 170 billion tons from sea and oceans, which occupies 70% of the earth. As we know, they comprises of what? The 70% of the total area of the earth. So the annual net primary productivity of biosphere is 170 billion tons from sea and oceans, which occupy 70% of the earth. Now what is secondary productivity? So that was about the primary product. Secondary productivity is what? It is the organic matter or biomass produced by consumers. That is, there it is the biomass or the organic matter produced by the autotrophs, by the plants through a process called photosynthesis. Here it is the organic matter or biomass produced by consumers. So you can understand through, so the first one is what? Through decomposition. So I think all of us know decomposition is what? It is the breakdown of the complex organic matter into simpler soluble substances is called decomposition. So what is decomposition? I think all of us know earthworm plays a very great role. Right? So it is what is decomposition? It is a breakdown of complex organic matter into inorganic substances like water, carbon dioxide and nutrients. So the organic matter of dead plants and animals is called as what? Detritus. The dead organic matter is called as detritus. You can also use the word called dead organic matter. You can also use the word called dead organic matter. Example, like the dead plants and the dead animals form the detritus. Then earthworms, as we know, earthworms are called friends of farmers because they're going to loosen the soil and make the soil for good aeration. Hence, they're called as farmers' friend. And they're very much responsible for breakdown of organic matter into simpler inorganic matter. That is why they're used for what? Vermicomposting. So what is secondary productivity? It is the organic matter or biomass produced by consumers. So you can understand this particular secondary primary with taking decomposition as a classical example. So what is it? It is a breakdown of complex organic matter into inorganic substances like water, carbon dioxide and nutrients. So the organic matter of dead plants and animals is called detritus. Then as we know, earthworms are friends of farmers, which is going to loosen the soil, make the soil for good aeration, enrich the soil fertility, and at the same time break down, as you know, it also feeds on the dead organic matter like the dead leaves. So organic matter into simple inorganic matter. So decomposition process includes 5 very important steps. 5 important steps. So decomposition process include 5 steps. One is called fragmentation, second one is called leaching, third one is called catabolism, fourth one is called humidification, and the fifth one is called mineralization. So in today's session, we'll be studying about 3 very important steps of decomposition, that is fragmentation, leaching, and catabolism, and the remaining 2 steps in the coming session. So what is fragment? The very word itself will tell you. The dead organic matter is broken down into smaller pieces and particles by the detrivores, like it might be the saprophytic bacteria. Dirt eaters are called detrivores. Detrivores are saprophytic bacteria. They are called as the dirt eaters. What do you mean by saprophytic bacteria, dirt eaters or detrivores? Those which feed on the dead organic matter, like maybe it be the dead plants and animals, are called detrivores or dirt eaters or saprophytic bacteria. So first very important step is what? Fragmentation. The process of breakdown of the detritus, that is the dirt. Here the dirt means dead plants and animals. Dead plants and animals into smaller particles by detrivores like earthworms or even saprophytic bacteria. Imagine if saprophytic bacteria was not there. They are also called as natural scavengers. They are called as natural scavengers who clean the dirt. Scavengers are the one who clean the dirt. Imagine if saprophytic bacteria was not found in the soil. I think the whole world would have been filled with filth and dirt, and we would not be able to survive with that filth, right? So saprophytic bacteria do a great job of bringing about the process of decomposition, breaking down of the complex organic matter into simpler soluble, absorbable molecules. So what are the steps in decomposition? There are 5 very important steps in decomposition. One is called fragmentation, leaching, catabolism, humidification, and mineralization. What is the first step all about? The very word itself will tell you. Fragmentation means what? Breaking down of the dead organic matter into smaller fragments. So the process by whom? By the detrivores or the dirt eaters. It may be the earthworm or the saprophytic bacteria. What is leaching? The process of penetration of water, soluble inorganic nutrients in soil horizons and precipitate to become unavailable salts is called leaching. Through the process of decomposition, some very important nutrients will be available back to the environment and some will go deeper parts of the soil. So the process of penetration of water soluble inorganic nutrients in soil horizons and precipitate to become unavailable salts is called leaching. So leaching is the second very important step. Next is catabolism. The very word itself will tell you. It is nothing but the breakdown or degradation of detritus into simple inorganic salts by microbes like bacteria, fungi, and virus is called catabolism. So what is leaching? The process of penetration of water-soluble inorganic nutrients in soil horizons and precipitate to become unavailable salt. They will not be provided back to the environment. There are some which are going back to the environment, recycled back, and some which is not recycled. So catabolism, it is the breakdown or degradation of detritus, that is the dirt or the dead organic matter, into simple inorganic salts by microbes, as I said, like the saprophytic bacteria, or it might be the fungi or viruses. Hope you have understood the process, the very important concept of ecosystem, and we also studied about productivity, the primary productivity and secondary productivity. So in the coming session, I'll be dealing with the remaining steps of decomposition, that is humidification and mineralization, as well as we'll be studying about the major abiotic factors. So till then, goodbye and thank you.